Good afternoon, YouTubers. It's Joe Cruzy here at 15:25 in the afternoon on Wednesday, November 11th, Armistice Day, Veterans Day, 2015. I've received some somber news. A very good friend of mine, Thomas Andrew Nims, has died. He died on the 8th of November. And my ex-wife was kind enough to notify me that he had died because she reads the obituaries in the Columbus Dispatch religiously. It's really almost like a sacrament for her. I used to call it her sports page. She'd get in there to see if anybody she knew had cacked off. Well, of course, nowadays, increasingly for the both of us, more and more people we know have cacked off, and they appear in the Columbus Dispatch's quote sports unquote page, the obituaries. Well, you've heard me mention Tom Nims before. He was a superb oncologic surgeon that did very violent big cases that nobody else would tackle, and for which he got a lot of grief from other surgeons because they said, "Oh, that's not going to do any good." Yeah. And his defense was, and I talked to these patients too, since I did basically almost 90% of his anesthesia. His defense was, essentially they've hit the end of the road and they want more, and they're willing to have more done to them in the hope of having something done for them. And that was the case. A lot of ovarian cancer debulking, a lot of colon cancer recurrence, debulking and liver resection stuff. He would occasionally wander into the chest and do stuff. The right chest is one of the prettiest countries God has ever created. It really is. In any case, I did a lot of his anesthesia. And very briefly, I'll recount, and I think I've said it before, but I'll recount real fast how that came to pass. Another fellow who was on staff at Grant, he wasn't in our group. We didn't have a group. Thank God we didn't have a group then. We were all individual solo practitioners, flying high into the air of individuality, as was still allowed in the United States at that point in 1980. Well, this fellow, let's just style him as a fellow from a region of the world very, very far east of here, but not so far as to hit the Pacific Rim. Maybe just past the edge of the Mediterranean Sea. Actually, though, he came from South Africa, but he originated from the area to which I alluded. he had done one of these big, we used to call them rip-em-ups, Nims rip-em-up. And you know, occasionally these people bleed afterwards, you know, so they have to be brought back to, you know, stanch the bleeding. You know, if you carry a lot of water, you're going to spill some from time to time, so there you go. So this guy, you know, it's like 5:30 in the afternoon. Well, who doesn't want to get the hell out of the hospital at 5:30 in the afternoon? Although, you know, in my case, I didn't want to get the hell out of the hospital at 5:30 in the afternoon because of traffic, you know, getting out of Columbus at that time of day. To go up to where I live now. No. Well, no, I hadn't done that. Anyway, always on the hunt for the main chance. You wouldn't think it of me, would you? But I am, or was. Don't have to be now, thank the good Lord. I never liked having to do that. Nonetheless, so it says, oh, you know, so-and-so's bleeding and he's going to be, you know, and, you know, Tom Nims wants you to, you know, and this guy went back. This guy just was down the back stairs like a shot. The chairman of our department, who was actually sort of a, you know, quasi-hired hand of the hospital at that point, you know, he was brought in to sort of, you know, shape up this anesthesia department. That was why he brought me in. I enjoyed the opportunity, but not for that reason. Anyway, so this individual goes down the stairs. I mean, he was out like a shot. They even called over to the parking garage to try to get the guard to block him from leaving. He had eluded them. He was a wily 7-7. So then everybody looks at me, you know, Dr. Nims looks at me, Tom Nims looks at me. At that point, he was Dr. Nims to me. That was for it. You know, after this case, he became Tom. You know, he and I became Tom and Joe. Yeah. So I did the case. You know, it went okay. I mean, it went okay as a lot of these, you know, as much of these rebleeds can. I mean, you know, patient left the room alive. You know, lived to fight another day. I don't know whether he fought, you know, heartily and strongly, but he lived to fight another day. That's cancer surgery. That's really basically all you can hope for sometimes. Even when you cut somebody in two. Well, actually, if you cut somebody in two, you hope that's a cure, actually. I participated in that once. October 12th, Columbus Day. It's either 1980 or 1981. I'd have to go back and look at my cards, because I keep all my cards. I kept all my cards. I go far afield and I digress. In any case, over the years, you know, I did probably 90% of Tom Nims' anesthesia. You know, if I wasn't in town, then he didn't, you know, I couldn't do it. But he would always basically ask for me, unless a patient had specifically requested somebody else, which they did occasionally. You know, who had, you know, been done by somebody else previously. You know, if they, you know, because he did a lot of redos in terms of not redos there, but just you know, he'd do somebody. A year or two later, the cancer recur. They'd come in. They'd have some more chopped out. Chop. It's sort of like making a salad, only on a longer time scale. Cancer salad. Pray God I never have to fucking go through that. Still, God will take care of you in any case. So I think it's appropriate to read this obituary real fast. Well, not real fast, because I don't want to sound like a 10-year-old in the 4th grade class giving a recitation, do I? Memory of Thomas Andrew Nims, May 7th, 1940, November 8th, 2015. This is from the funeral home. They told when the visitation is going to be. It's going to be on Saturday, 1 to 3, and then the service is going to be, excuse me, at 3 p.m. at the end of the visitation. And Paul gets to hear this right now, too. Thomas A. Nims, MD, age 75, passed away peacefully at home on Sunday, November 8th, 2015, surrounded by family and loved ones. He was born in Adrian, Michigan on May 7th, 1940. I've landed an aircraft at Adrian, Michigan Airport, by the way. It's a very nice airport. That's irrelevant. And grew up in Troy, Ohio. He went to Ohio Wesleyan University, where he excelled in academics on the basketball court. I saw a picture of him in his little... Well, he was a tall man. There's a lot of surgeons are really tall, big guys. And later attended Ohio State University Medical School. After receiving his medical degree, I do sound like a 17-year-old or a 10-year-old, don't I? He joined the military service as a captain and worked in South Vietnam in the 2nd Surgical Hospital. Upon return, he did a surgical residency at Riverside Methodist Hospital here in Columbus. That's here in Columbus. That's my words. And then went on to do a surgical oncology fellowship at Memorial Sloan Kettering in New York City, which I'm going to add in here where he met his wife, his first wife. He's had 3. Or he had 3. He began, she had lymphoma. That borders on, that's a bit of an ethical, it's hard to say there. I always wondered about that. Anyway, they had some children. They parted amicably. I might get into the other stuff later here. We'll see. He began the surgical oncology program at Grant Medical Center, and he worked Grant Medical Center. It's a hospital, Grant Hospital. And he worked at the Medical Education Department as Director of Surgery, teaching and training new residents. Well, I won't get into that. I won't get into that little bit of internal politics. He also had a private practice in surgical oncology for many years. Well, hell, he had a private practice the whole time. Later, he specialized and began the breast cancer fellowship program at Grant. He was a gifted surgeon, yes, he was, and caring physician, establishing deep relationships with his patients, yes, he did. His private life included, I'm not going to go into this private life, but he had 3 kids, and those were all with his first wife. And then he had 12 grandchildren and so forth. He is survived by a brother, a sister, and other beloved family members. I hope that's not a presumed adjective. Hope that's not just rhetorical obituary stuff or sports page stuff, as my ex-wife would have termed it. And his wife, co-worker, and soulmate, Jan. Well, Jan was, when I first met her, she was then Jan Reynard, and Paul and I helped her move out of her apartment into, well, wherever she moved then. And then after that, she and Tom got married. And Jan was Tom's third wife. Jan's wonderful. Outstanding operating room nurse. Outstanding operating room nurse instrument. I mean, just outstanding everything. Can't say enough about Jan. They devoted their lives to taking care of their patients and others. Yes, they did. As he battled cancer for others, he battled cancer with himself, and with grace and dignity, and accepted death as a part of life. I imagine he did. And then talks about the visitation arrangements and where money can be sent and so forth. And my comment was, you have these e-obituaries, an e-obituary. Well, nobody can understand my handwriting anyway. I worked with Tom and Jan for the bulk of my active professional anesthesia life at Grant Hospital and was privileged to do much of his anesthesia in some amazing cases. We socialized extensively, a great man, a good friend, tremendous fun, tremendous surgeon, amazing man and human being. I have missed him and shall miss him. One rarely encounters an individual such as he was, and as far as I am concerned, still is. God bless you, Tom. Bye-bye, YouTube.